we're going to do the smaller faces pretty much like what we did with the larger face, where we add the little impression with the eyes. Okay, we have this one. Get a little bit of hot glue. Okay, we've got the two little faces in. Then you want to, I've got one toothpick that's already painted, so I'm just going to cut the ends off of these. Just we're going to make the impression like we did before. Add just a little bit of glue at the end. Slide this down in there. And like I said, for the smaller one, it doesn't really necessarily have to be in too far, but just enough to let you know that he's got a nose. Now, before we make the mouth on these, what we're going to need to do is we have to figure out on here how we're going to position the smaller of the faces. So that's going to require, again, for you to take your flat head needle nose pliers, and you're going to need to at least take out one or two of the petals in order to make an open space for the heads. So once you have your pine cone, kind of estimate roughly about where you'd like to have your head. If you want it up higher, you can do that. If you want it down lower, you can. Do you want it towards the front? Do you want it towards the side? It's all a preference call. And for me, I would prefer to have something a little bit more towards the side, so then that way when people look at it and they twirl it around, they'll be able to see that there's something on the sides rather than everything all into the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out another petal, and if you take your flat needle nose pliers and then insert it inside and just gently break off a section and don't let go, you'll find it'll make an open space. And you might have a few little pine threads left over, and you can always pull and clean that out. Just be careful that you don't bend any of the other petals while you're pulling. We have one open space there. We're going to do another open space, and I will probably have that one a little bit higher up, but a little bit closer to the front. So we've got two of our spaces open. Now what we want to do is we just want to insert those on the inside. So we're going to add some glue to the head. We just kind of randomly just want to add just a little bit around the back of the head. We place it in. That way whenever you place the head in that, it'll just kind of set itself in there with the hot glue, and then that way it'll pretty much stay. And let's see, we took this one out here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add some hot glue to a little bit of the back of the head, and then we're going to insert this into the front. And it'll be a little bit of a tight fit from time to time, but the more you work with it, the more you'll have an idea pretty much about where you want to set your snowman heads. So once we've got that pretty much set all in there, the next thing we're going to need to do is just make the small little faces. So we're going to use our smaller size paintbrush again. We're going to dab a little bit into the black, and I'm getting hairs all over the place. We want to add just small little round circles just to kind of give an indication that he's got a smile on his face. Not too big. Okay. Then the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to add the greenery, which goes back into the back of the snowman. I'm going to lay this one down. So what we want to do is find where the knot that you tied off, that's the side that we're going to add the hot glue. And when we add this to the back of the snowman back here, we want to be able to just kind of set it to where it's going to be pretty close to the head, to where it'll kind of look like this once it's attached. So for right now, we're going to take some hot glue and we're going to add quite a bit. And as you see, when you get closer to the needles and that, they will curl up because it's not real greenery, it's then synthetic. And we want to hold that so it has a little bit of time to attach itself. We're going to take our pine cones, and if you get your pine cones, try to get them where they're pretty close to the same style. You don't want to get one that's too much bigger than the other. If they're a little bit off in color, that's fine, because that's what gives them their natural look to them. So what we're going to do is we want to place the pine cone on the back side, preferably about right here. Now you can place them in the front if you want to, if they're smaller, but I prefer to have them into the back. That way it covers up the rest of the knot. So we're going to add some more hot glue, and we're just going to stick the down curved side down on the back side of the greenery. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. This kind of finishes off the look of the snowman, almost. But you want to make sure that whenever you put the pine cones on, make sure that the greenery is pretty well secured before you add the pine cones. I'm just kind of showing you right now about where you need to put them in. If you want to add any smaller decorations up in the front, you can actually find some smaller size beads that are gold, or you can add a ribbon or anything you want. For now, I'm just going to add 2 gold beads to go up into the front, just to kind of dress it up a little bit. I'm going to place one up in here, place the second one down below. There we go. And that roughly just kind of dresses it up just a little bit whenever you add that on there. So by the time everything pretty much stays together in that, you should have a finished little pinecone snowman, just like that. Stay tuned for some more ideas and more crafts later on. If you got any questions, you can always contact me under Pampered Projects, and my phone number is also there on the main page too. Have a nice day and have a good holiday. I'll see you later.